Inside Boxing's Throwdown. My name is Steve Johnson. My co-host Aurelio Martinez. This is a special segment for us, and that's just because we had some breaking news that happened a few days ago involving the number one amateur boxing association here in the United States, which is USA Boxing. They decided in their infinite wisdom that they were going to force the cancellation of the Ringside World Championships, which is one of the top tournaments in the United States.
17 years in going.
Now, the problem is that for USA Boxing, in my opinion, is that, let me first of all, I thought USA Boxing, really, I have to admit, I thought that they were on the right track. President John Brown, they just promoted Mike McAtee to executive director, and then they brought one of my favorite guys, Mike Campbell, from down in Houston, Texas, who was very responsible for the Texas boxing program, amateurs really getting their due and being on the right track. But this is a big step backwards. I mean, a giant step backwards in forcing the cancellation of the of the Ringside World Championships. And it's verified now. We have it verified. The sanctioning fee for the Ringside World Championships was $310.
Yeah.
USA Boxing kicked it up to $45,000. Now, just think about this. From $310 to $45,000. You know what you compare that to, Aurelio? Years ago, when we bought an apartment building that we were going for profit.
Yeah.
Okay. You go in and you don't tell the tenants, "Oh, you got to get out." Okay.
Yeah.
You tell them you give them 30 days, but you say, "I understand. Your rent for April was $100, but for the 1st of May, it's going to be $1,000."
Yeah.
Okay. That is a way of saying get out, but you're not saying get out, but they know that you have to get out.
Well, with USA Boxing, their credibility it's been shaky. It's been like a stock market, up and down, and it's been down so long that they were trying to climb up. But this ringside tournament has become so popular, and it's actually busted out of the United States, and we have people that come in from other parts of the world to come and compete in this tournament because it's the legitimate amateur world games. Okay, so it's been going on, and USA didn't like that. So they to kind of bring you guys up that don't know, they Ringside, the president, Mr. Skeet, I believe it is his name, he wrote out a letter and sent it out, a notification to all the amateurs and people in the United States as far as notifying them that the Ringside 2018 tournament was going to be canceled. And it was canceled, and he spelled it out, and he specifically gave the reasons why of the sanctioning fees being raised from $300 up to $45,000, okay, which is just ridiculous. In addition to that, okay, it's come out that Ringside not only raised their sanctioning fee knowing that they're going to kill the tournament, because obviously that was their whole goal anyway. USA Boxing was their whole goal, but they also planned a week tournament the same time frame
as the Worlds
in the same town, Kansas City. Okay, so you kind of block out your competition, and you kind of just move in and take over that spot, and people all across the country already are used to going to Kansas City for this. So they kind of wanted to slide their own thing in. It's very similar to what they did a few years back when they slapped the Golden Gloves organization in the face. Okay, what they did, because the Golden Gloves has always been the elite tournaments that produced
world champions,
world Olympic champions.
Yes.
That won gold. Now USA hasn't won gold in forever. Okay, they can't. And if you go back to the last members that won gold, they've always been products of Golden Gloves tournaments. Okay, so that says something about Golden Gloves. So what does USA Boxing do? They strip them from becoming an Olympic qualifier. Okay, so they hold their tournaments now, but they're meaningless now. Yep. They're just tournaments like anybody else puts on across the country. They have no teeth anymore. And same thing with PAL.
Yep.
Okay,
at least athletically.
They stripped everyone. So now, if you want to be involved in qualifying for the Olympics, you have to go through USA Boxing tournaments. Okay,
they're a monopoly. Just call it what it is. They're a monopoly.
So So it doesn't fare well with people here in the United States and the thing. And let's not forget what USA Boxing is. And I can speak truthfully on this because 7 years ago we formed the organization, the USBL, the United States Boxing League. Okay, and the reason for that was to provide a second avenue for amateurs in the United States to gain exposure, experience, to become professional. We even went through the process of applying to the USOC to become a sanctioning organization for Olympic participation. Okay, didn't happen because we got the response from the USOC saying they only have one, they only allow one, and at that time it was USA Boxing, and it still is USA Boxing. So when you got that kind of power, it's very easy to flex your muscles, and that's exactly what they're doing. And they were successful in taking the ringside out of the picture, and they just continue on this road to where people have to second guess really what's their motives. What are their motives?
Well, I have to say I'm very disappointed, very, very disappointed, because USA Boxing first, as I said earlier, they were successful in stripping PAL and Golden Gloves of being Olympic qualifiers. Okay, so they've taken away their power. But more important to me is trying to figure out where John Brown, and John Brown is a friend of mine. I talk to him on a semi-regular basis, but to figure out where Mr. John Brown was Mr. Golden Gloves. Yeah. Everyone knows that they're in Kansas, in Kansas City, that the ringside tournament was previously his.
Yep.
Okay. He allegedly sold it.
He owned ringside.
But he allegedly sold it, and now ringside, for a minute we were all saying, wow, ringside is, now he's gotten rid of ringside. So I'm confused as to how, and now John Brown going from Mr. Golden Gloves to now president of USA Boxing. I think by any stretch of the imagination, you have to say there was a conflict of interest.
Absolutely.
That was first, there's no question about that. But the USA Boxing membership, and I'm talking about their coaches, they'll show me if they have any balls, and I'm saying this publicly. That's time slot where ringside was done, and now it's a USA Boxing tournament in that same time slot. I want to see, for all these coaches that have been bitching and moaning for the last couple of days, how many of you take your teams to Kansas City to compete in that tournament? That'll tell me exactly what's going on.
I'm going to tell you, I agree. Just like you mentioned, there has to be a conflict. Okay, John Brown, president of USA Boxing now, currently,
Yep.
Okay, was the owner of ringside.
Yes.
Sold it to
whoever.
Combat Brands, or whatever they call it now.
Yeah.
Sold it to him, and I had to get a pretty penny for it. I mean, he had to get pretty good money for it. And now he takes the money as selling his company, and now he kills the company. As far as tournament goes, as president, there's something wrong with that picture.
There's something wrong, and like I said, I really don't care what went wrong with that. I'm talking about the membership, the USA Boxing membership. They've been, let me just say this before, we only have a little bit of time left, but, this is a topic where you only hear it on this show. You might hear it from some other boxing shows, internet shows, but ESPN, those clowns, they won't touch it. You know why? Because they don't know shit about boxing. That's the bottom line. And they won't touch this because they don't have anybody that can be credible and come on top, take on either side. They can't take USA Boxing side or the other side. They can't take either. So it's not going to be left up to us. I'm talking about us amateur boxing fans to make sure that we stay on top of it. And there's only one thing that could be done at this point. The membership has to show that they have some balls and say, we're not going to stand and take this any longer. And I don't care if they go with USBL or if there's another organization that comes up and you guys all combine or whatever, but something has to be done to put this to a stop.
Well, Steve, next week for you guys that are interested in this topic, and there's a lot of you out there, okay, because we broke out the story in InsideBoxing.com, and it surpassed any other piece that we have put on in the past 10 years that we've been doing this for over 10 years, more like 20 years that Inside Boxing's been doing its thing. So anyhow, next week we're going to spend a segment explaining to you who the USBL is, how we work, what we work with, all our goals to give people an alternative. Okay, because right now the question's going out there. Okay, well, what do I do with my amateurs?
Right.
Okay, we have to. If we don't box on a USA Boxing, there's nothing else out there. Okay, well, we're going to explain our program. We've been around for 7 years. Just stay tuned next week. We'll spell it out, and that way you guys can submit questions, information. We'll give you everything you need to know as somewhat of an alternative to your amateur boxers.
And since we're right here in Denver, I'm personally going to put a call down to Colorado Springs and see if we can get Mike McAtee. I know John Brown won't come, but we could say Mike McAtee, or if Mike Campbell.
Absolutely.
Mike Campbell would come up and give us their side of exactly
Absolutely.
what's going on, because I don't want to just say that, you know, that they just totally strong-armed the way it looks right now.
That's
but
the way it looks.
If they have a defense to that, I'd love to have them come on and explain, not to us, explain to you guys. Okay?
Right.
All right, radio, that's it for our fourth segment, a special segment we did. Any questions, ideas, editor@insideboxing.com. And in the meantime, we'll see you next week, and we'll have results of the Anthony Joshua, Joseph Parker World Heavyweight title fight in England. And in the meantime,
Keep them hands
keep
up.
them up, baby.